War bunkers have always creeped me out. Something about remnants of war left exactly as they were abandoned makes my skin crawl.
But here you can see train cars. I see some ventilation system over there.
And when I found out they had uncovered these strange things in the oldest war bunkers, I was shocked.
I'm not really sure what the name says. Maybe Josh can help me out here, brush it up a little bit.
These war bunkers hid the strangest of artifacts that I wasn't expecting it at all. Want to find out more? Stick around till the end as I take you through the oldest war bunkers hiding strange things. Number 35. War Pharmacy. Here is a bunker in Germany that hasn't been explored much. Built during World War II as an air raid shelter for civilians, it's a bit different from the military bunkers we've been seeing. There's this creepy painting of a lady inside, which really drives home the civilian vibe. But the strangest part? The bunker is filled with glass bottles of all shapes and sizes. Either a wartime pharmacist was working here, or someone decided to cook up something illegal after the war ended. Number 34. Risky Adventure. A daring YouTuber ventured into an undisclosed location in Eastern Europe to explore an untouched Soviet bunker. While much of it was damaged by water, he still managed to make some incredible finds, like radiation pills. These pills were used during radiation testing, and as he ventured deeper into the bunker, he even found posters explaining how to use them. Unfortunately, I don't know Russian to translate, but still, what a wild discovery. It didn't stop there. He also found crates full of gas masks and other supplies. That's when he knew this trip was 100% worth it. Number 33. Bunkers and cannons. On one bunker hunt, some adventurers stumbled across a well-preserved site in Norway, located along the infamous Atlantic Wall. This bunker wasn't just a relic of World War II. It was originally built by the Germans, later modified and used by NATO forces during the Cold War. Carved into a hillside, much of the bunker still looks intact, with power cables, metal planks, and all. Above ground, the flak cannons are still in place, untouched and not moved to some museum, letting us all see the bunker in all its glory, or what's left of it. Number 32. Historic Weapons. A YouTuber traveled to France to explore an abandoned World War II bunker, and oh boy, was it worth it. The bunker had only one entrance, which was so small that only one person could squeeze through at a time, only healthy ones too. But once inside, it opened up into something massive.
There's where the ammunition got up. Plates are gone. I have to climb to the other side and then go up.
The standout feature? A gigantic cannon, as wide as a cheap New York apartment and a few stories high. And there wasn't just one. This bunker had several cannons, all still equipped with levers and mechanisms. Even though the systems are disconnected now, they're in such good condition that with a little restoration, they might actually work again. The bunker even has bedrooms, complete with old bed frames. Seriously though, what were they aiming for with those cannons? The moon? Number 31. German flak. A group of explorers ventured into a bunker built by Yugoslav forces during World War II, not realizing what they'd find on the other end. Along the way, they uncovered some interesting artifacts, like a metal German jerry can and part of a fuse setter, which was used to time bombs fired from cannons. They also stumbled upon tracks designed to move carts loaded with heavy weapons. The best discovery, though, a German 88mm flak cannon, which was surprisingly well preserved. With a little restoration, you could probably still fire this big boy. Number 30. Horror Hospital. During World War II, the Germans built underground hospital bunkers for both troops and civilians. While many of them have been destroyed or repurposed, let's take a look at one forgotten site that'll probably give you the creeps. This place was bomb-proof, and back then, it would have been packed with people needing medical help. But as you venture deeper, it starts looking more and more like a setting straight out of a horror game. The explorer even found an operating theater and a room that might have been for sterilization, complete with some old artifacts still lying around. This is the legit scary reminder of the dark times. Number 29. Secret Factory. During the Cold War, when communists ruled Albania, they built bunkers everywhere. There's literally one for every 4 Albanians. But the one we're visiting, this one's on another level. It's tucked away in a tiny village and was actually a secret weapon factory.
Because you can see people looting everything outside.
Even after all these years, so much of the original equipment is still there. Explorers found a workbench covered in old photos pinned to a soft board and eventually stumbled upon the ammunition room. There were live bullets, empty shells, and even machinery that looked like it could still work if powered up. Then came the crazy find. What they thought was a grenade launcher. Turns out, experts say it's the barrel of some kind of machine gun. Either way, it's amazing how this place has remained so untouched and yet so packed with history. Number 28, Nazi grenade. This guy managed to sneak into an abandoned bunker that's clearly been untouched for quite some time. The artifacts inside, still intact. If the giant pipes and mysterious machines weren't wild enough, he stumbled upon a grenade just chilling on a desk. It looked old and probably unusable, but yeah, I'm staying far away from that. Number 27, radiation testing bunker. This bunker is in an undisclosed location. Why? Because the guy who found it thought it was pretty incredible and didn't want to risk it getting vandalized by sharing the spot. From the looks of it, it seems like a British nuclear testing bunker built during the Cold War when tensions were skyrocketing. What's wild is how well preserved it is. Plans, equipment, and even old teapots are just lying around, untouched for decades. No wonder the guy wanted to keep it a secret. Just imagine the kind of pressure the people working down there must have felt, knowing a nuclear war could break out at any moment. Number 26, extracting time capsule. In 2019, workers building a store in Rybnik, Poland, found a buried wartime bunker. The city officials stepped in to make sure it wasn't damaged during construction and decided to move it to a safer location where it could be restored and eventually opened to the public. What's inside the bunker? Still a mystery. Was it a military installation? A civilian shelter? Nobody knows for sure yet. Experts think it might have been built to defend against a potential German invasion during World War II. For now, though, the answers are buried in the bunker's past. Number 25, uniform. Germany built a coastal battery in France during World War II to defend against the Allies, and it included some seriously big gun. But that's not the highlight here. At Crispec Battery, which was damaged and later restored as a museum, a worker stumbled upon something amazing during excavation: a German soldier's jacket tucked inside a barrel. Although the worker took it home at first, he eventually returned it so it could be displayed where it belonged. Finding something like this in good condition is incredibly rare, and you can see how proud this guy looks as he explains the jacket's history and connection to the bunker. Number 24, explosive. Another World War II enthusiast was out metal detecting near a site rumored to have buried bunkers. He didn't find a bunker, but he did find an unexploded bomb. He did the smart thing and immediately called the police bomb squad to handle it. And yes, these things are still dangerous. Don't believe me? Look up recent World War II bomb explosions once you're done watching this video. Number 23, crane. In 2021, a German gun bunker that had been sealed for over 50 years was finally made accessible. Naturally, a history buff had to go check it out. Most of the goods that once filled its rooms were long gone, but you could still see electrical boxes on the walls and maintenance pipes running through the place. The standout find? A massive, wall-mounted crane-like machine with its chains still intact. The explorers gave the chain a tug, and to their surprise, the system still seemed to work. Sure, it was rusty, but you could almost hear the echoes of workers who once used it. The floor tiles were cracked and broken in some places, revealing the intricate pipes underneath. It's wild to think about how advanced the construction was, especially considering this was all built in the middle of a war. Number 22, grenade box. Some amateur archaeologists searching for World War II relics came across a buried German dugout. The conditions weren't great. Dense clay and too much water made it hard to excavate the whole thing, but they still managed to uncover some incredible finds. Near the entrance, they discovered a Nazi grenade box and cartridges used by Russians. It's odd to find relics from two opposing sides in the same spot. Makes you wonder what kind of untold stories are still buried. Number 21. Ammunition boxes. Hidden in a residential area, a YouTuber came across a World War II-era bunker. But he wasn't the first to discover it. The bunker had ammunition boxes lying all over the place, but they were all empty. Now, were these boxes left empty by troops when they left, or were they full, and people just took everything over the years? We'll never know. Number 20. Dangerous dig. A group of treasure hunters stumbled upon a German bunker on an old World War II battlefield. As they dug deeper, more of the barracks started to emerge, and the relics they were uncovering got them all hyped. But then, things took a scary turn when one of them dug up a hand grenade. Even after 80 years, this thing could still go boom.
I mean, it's still sharp.
Oh, don't cover me in mud. I'm dirty enough as it is.
They carefully set it aside, but let this be a reminder. Don't go hunting bunkers on your own after watching my video. Always have experts with you. Number 19. In the backyard. Okay, so this one isn't about some crazy discovery inside a bunker. It's about where the bunker was found. A man in the UK bought a house, and while there were a few rumors about a bunker in the area, nothing about it was officially mentioned. After moving in, he noticed a drainpipe cover that seemed a bit off. When he decided to check it out, he discovered a World War II bunker buried right in his backyard. If I were him, I wouldn't have told anyone. I'd just repurpose it into the ultimate man cave. Imagine having your friends over and hanging out in a historic bunker. How cool would that be? Number 18. Batteries. An explorer came across something super rare in a German bunker. Batteries from World War II, just lying there untouched. Honestly, I've never seen these in any other bunker before, and judging by their condition, I'd bet a simple acid change would get them working again. Number 17. Live ammunition. Not everyone is as unlucky as the previous guy, because these guys exploring German bunkers hit the jackpot when they found bullets. Their adventure took them from abandoned showers and vandalized walls to digging up actual remnants of war, like live ammo and empty cartridges. But the craziest discovery was a corridor completely destroyed by an explosion. It looked like the blast came from the inside. Nobody knows how it happened. Do you have any theories? Number 16. Bullet holes. Now, we're stepping into a bunker that was first discovered in 1979. When authorities opened it up, they found the remains of two soldiers who had died there in 1945. No one even knew were there. Decades have passed since its discovery, but the bunker still feels frozen in time. Bullet holes mark the doors, a grim reminder of the fight that took place. You can even see the destruction caused by explosives used by Allied forces to blast their way into the vault for secret documents. The craziest part, the phosphorescent paint. Don't get it. Oh wait, the lights need to be off for that. The markings glow in the dark, designed to guide people if the power ever goes out. As fascinating as that is, the rest of the bunker tells a heartbreaking story of the tragic end that unfolded there. Number 15. NATO headquarters. Fortunately for humans, the Cold War didn't turn into World War III, but if it had, this is where NATO would have commanded their forces. To get inside this abandoned NATO headquarters, the explorers had to enter through a cable shaft and walk a long way through dark tunnels. Eventually, they reached the fallout shelter, which had massive rooms, still with bits of moldy furniture scattered around. The size of the rooms was insane, and there were even theater-like spaces where 200 to 300 troops stationed here during the Cold War could entertain themselves in case of a nuclear attack. Oh, and apparently, they sold ice cream here too. Moving on to the serious stuff, they reached the command center, where decisions for the next steps of the Cold War were once discussed. Then came a room filled with equipment, most of it probably left behind because it was already falling apart when the bunker was decommissioned. The whole place feels like a toxic labyrinth. Number 14. Yugoslav bunker. Alright, let's head inside a forbidden bunker, built by Yugoslav forces during World War II. It still has its original door. At the end of a long, narrow tunnel, you'll find rooms filled with rubble, but there are still some interesting details left behind. For example, There's a metal piece mounted next to a window, which was probably part of a machine gun support system. You can also see steel beams bent out of shape, likely from an explosion. Compared to other bunkers we've explored, I know this doesn't seem much, but this one is absolutely off limits to the public, which makes it better. Even this little bunker holds pieces of history that have been lost to time. Number 13. Treacherous descent. These explorers take a risky drop down a wobbly ladder to check out a Cold War-era nuclear bunker built by the British. These were the first people to set foot inside in more than half a century. The whole bunker felt like a messed-up version of Subway Surfers, except instead of dodging trains, you're avoiding water puddles and missing floors. One wrong step and you're in a ditch filled with water. Unfortunately, there wasn't much left to see here, just a lemon squash bottle and a thermo tank. But hey, stick around for number 1 to see how wild these nuclear bunkers can really get. Number 12. Ammo boxes. Armed with a metal detector, some amateur archaeologists were combing through a World War II battlefield when they struck gold, a German dugout. The first thing they unearthed, parts of magnetic landmines used by German forces. And the deeper they dug, the more they found, boxes and boxes of unused bullets, left behind by troops who never got the chance to fire them. One of the boxes even had a label indicating it was supposed to hold explosives. Don't worry though, it was empty. Otherwise, things could have gotten a whole lot messier. Number 11. Fuel storage bunkers. Next up, we've got a group of history buffs exploring a site with 5 fuel storage bunkers and 1 air raid shelter at an undisclosed location. The bunkers are surrounded by train tracks, which would have been used to bring in supplies or refuel. Inside, you'll find storage containers and fuel pipes, most of it in ruins now. But the main bunker, that's where the action is. This room was the heart of the operation, housing engines and pumps, and surprisingly, a lot of it is still intact. Number 10. In the woods. When word got out about an abandoned World War II bunker hidden in the forest, a few daring explorers decided to check it out. And what greeted them when they found the entrance? A rotting animal carcass right at the doorway. Lovely. Once inside, the place felt like a giant maze, with tunnels leading to rooms, rooms leading to more doors, and then more tunnels. While it was clear a lot of stuff had been scrapped over the years, there were still stacks of old bottles scattered around and markings and instructions covering the walls throughout the bunker. Number 9. Forgotten. Here is another German bunker on the Atlantic Wall, though this one's a little less flashy. No big cannons to draw a crowd, and it's pretty hidden, camouflaged by overgrown bushes. Inside, most of it has been stripped bare, but you can still spot some remnants of life back then. A rusty tap and the framework of old sinks hint at the human activity that once filled these dark tunnels. It's like the bunker's stories disappeared into the same shadows it's shrouded in. Number 8. Dagger and more. Remember the guy who found the Nazi belt? Well, he's back at it, and this time his discoveries are even more fascinating. While exploring another German dugout, he uncovered a box full of ammo, and once again, a leather German belt. But the next find was something a little more personal, and definitely unique to this list. A dagger. This weapon was once carried by a frontline soldier during the war. How cool is it to come across an artifact like that? Number 7. War Room. A World War II geek was exploring a hillside where Nazis once had their defense, hoping to find some relics. What he found instead was a staircase leading into a bunker, a gold mine for any history buff. Inside, it felt like the place had just been abandoned, even though it was built by the Nazis during the war. Experts believe it was later used by the Allies as a command center, which makes sense given the vintage 70s-style typewriters in the war rooms. Here's the strange part. Some of the lights still worked. Cool, but also kind of creepy. The explorer, who'd been in plenty of bunkers before, couldn't shake the weird vibe this one gave off. He ended up cutting his visit short, deciding not to find out what was making him uneasy. So, if you stumbled across a hidden bunker like this, would you go in? Number 6. Near West Wall. During World War II, the West Wall was the final line of Nazi defense, so you can imagine How many bunkers were jammed into this area? A group of explorers discovered an unspoiled bunker, but the entrance was so narrow that they couldn't get inside. Instead, they started searching around the bunker for relics. That's when they found a metal plate with a German last name on it, possibly from a storage locker. Then, they uncovered a spoon with initials engraved on the back. They didn't find anything explosive or flashy, but these smaller personal items feel way more connected to the people who lived through the war than guns or ammo ever could. Number 5. Hazmat suit. Now let's check out a communications bunker designed to keep the country connected in the event of a nuclear attack. Right at the entrance, there's a hazmat suit propped up like it's standing guard, though realistically, it would have been used to check radiation levels outside if a nuclear strike ever happened. Inside, there's no shortage of fascinating finds. There's a mechanic's cap and suit left behind by someone who worked here during the war. Everything about this place suggests it wasn't used as long as they originally planned. The coolest and weirdest find, a device that looks like a mix between a bomb and a vintage PC. Even the explorer wasn't sure what it was. If you've got any ideas, let me know in the comments. Number 4. Hitler's secret bunker. During World War II alone, the Nazis built thousands of bunkers, and a few of them were built under direct orders from Hitler himself. Obviously, these were also top secret. In 2022, after a lot of effort, a YouTuber managed to uncover one of these bunkers. The pipes inside are super rusty, but still hanging in there. You'll also find bits of metal equipment, likely parts of larger machines that once operated in the bunker. One fascinating detail, there's a hole in the metal wall where a specialized lens and weapon would have been mounted for surveillance. When the weapon wasn't in use, they'd seal the hole with a ridiculously thick lid. The Germans clearly weren't cutting corners when they built these bomb-proof shelters. Number 3. Preserved leather. A YouTuber who's all about restoring World War II relics stumbled across a German bunker buried in wet clay. The more he dug, the more fascinating stuff he uncovered. First, there were strange bottles, then an empty container, followed by a black box holding 2 cup-like objects. Then, he unearthed a smoking pipe, but the best find? A leather belt, incredibly well preserved. After a quick wash, it looked almost brand new. The buckle had the Nazi eagle clutching a swastika, proving it once belonged to a Nazi soldier stationed at the bunker during the war. Number 2. Still loaded. We've seen plenty of abandoned and stripped-down bunkers so far, but what about one that still has most of its original stuff? Let's check it out. This World War II gun bunker has been restored, keeping all the gear it was discovered with. For example, there's an explosive resting on a table attached to crane cable, which would have been used to load it into the gun bay. Don't worry though, authorities removed all the explosive material, so it's totally safe now. You can also spot massive, empty cartridges, wall-mounted cranes, and tools that give you a real picture of what it was like for workers loading and installing guns here during the war. But it's not just about the weapons. There are personal touches too, like a sweater once worn by a worker, with his number still visible on it. This is exactly how historic bunkers should be preserved everywhere, don't you think? Number 1. Toxic hellhole. And now, at number 1, we've got what I think is the most unsettling bunker of all. This Cold War bunker was built as a hospital in case of a nuclear attack, and the things left behind are enough to give you chills. Rotting medical kits, gas masks, and tons of other supplies are scattered throughout the place. The bunker was stocked up in the 1950s and last inspected in 1962, but it's been sitting untouched ever since. While the structure is still holding strong after 70 years, it's one of the most toxic places you could explore. We know it was meant to be a hospital, but who knows what shady stuff the Soviets were up to here. Even watching this place in a video is enough to make me uneasy. I can't imagine actually stepping inside. One can almost feel the eerie vibes pouring out of it, can't you? And that wraps up our journey through some incredible historic bunkers. Which one fascinated you the most? Or is there one you'd love to visit yourself? Let me know in the comments. Before you go, Make sure to hit that like button, subscribe, and press the little bell icon so you get notified every time we post a new video just for you. Thanks for watching, and see you next time.